This is the Sarasota Technology User Group. I'm Huey Poplock. Today is our technology discussion and presentation. Today it will be Judy Talore and What's Cookin' Home Automation in Your Kitchen. With that, I will turn over the introduction to our speaker, to Ann. So Ann, I'm going to stop the share so people can see you, and it's going to be all yours.
Thank you, Huey. It is great to see so many people here tonight, and it's truly great to see all of you with dogs. I'm glad you brought your dogs. I got to see them, and I thought they were beautiful. I want to introduce tonight an absolutely marvelous lady. She's probably one of the most knowledgeable people that we've ever had to speak to us about technology, and so it's always a very exciting program. Judy has a long History of being in technology. She is the president of the Santa Clarita Valley Computer Club, and she's also its webmaster. And she's co-facilitated the Southern California Regional User Group Summit, or SCRUGS, which is a group of computer clubs in Southern California that meet quarterly for the past 20 years to share ideas and present her information, solve problems, and that sort of thing. This work helped the two groups to remain active and alive. So Judy, she's taught adult education technology classes for 20 years, and she's done a lot of work through the high school, and she is a member of Pierce College Computer Applications and Office Technologies Advisory Committee. This woman, I mean, she is infused with technology. We are so lucky to have her. And as I say, she's one of the most knowledgeable women that I have ever seen. And we are so excited to have her back again with us. Judy, welcome, Judy Taylour from Southern California.
Thank you so much, Ann. I appreciate that. Until you said woman in the second one where I was knowledgeable, I was just going to shove that most knowledgeable over to Huey. He gets the title for that. Anyway, and I have added to my bio. I don't know why I hadn't done it before, but for some reason, for the last few years, I have been a member of the Los Angeles FBI Senior Scam Working Group. I have no clue how I started getting the invitations to their meetings, but I learned so much about scams for seniors. And we have AUSAs, we have local Leos, and then you have the little old lady from Santa Clarita with her white little tennis shoes on. And we finally had to introduce ourselves, and I thought, oh Lord, what am I going to say? I'm never going to be asked back again. So I said APCUG, and an international association, blah, blah, blah. And they invited me back. So I guess they don't care that I'm just a regular person. But it's interesting because of all of the people that attend, I'm the only one that has the capability of really getting the information out to seniors who need it. I include a lot of it in my presentation and just said, you know, the latest info out that I get from them. And it's really a fun thing. And I'm still wondering how they found me and why, but it's fun. And I do have to say this presentation was put together after I received a request from the Durham Canada group.
And I do have to say
I
this
thought,
presentation
okay, no problem. This is something I'd like to do. And then it dawned on me, I'd only ever seen one woman at their meetings. And I thought, well, and it was the men who were the cooks and had the home automation in the homes. And they wanted to know what they could do in their kitchens. I found that very interesting and fun. So off we go. I need to be able to share, Huey.
I'm slacking my job, but let me get that, Judy.
You were just so glad I said you were the best.
There you are. Here you go.
Got it. Thanks. I know I'm screen sharing. Oh, let's wonder if any of our kitchens are like that, or could they become like that if we got involved in home automation? A fun cartoon. Your dirty dishes can wait. I'm busy making cookies. So this presentation is brought to you by the Speakers Bureau, and it's a benefit of your membership in APCUG. So, increasing demand for home automation devices, smart devices from 2015 to 2025. I'm sure everybody that is attending this meeting has at least one home automation device in their home, and we're all probably, all of us are going to have smartphones to go along with those. So what is it? Connecting the tech in your home to your Wi-Fi network. Happy Joy, mine went out yesterday afternoon. And each other, and it has many benefits. And I look at this as, I want to age at home. I want to be able to say to my kids, no, I really don't want you to haul me off someplace. I've got everything set here with the home automation and everything else that I can easily, live at home no matter how old I get, as long as I can get around. We can control everything in real time. We can do it with our voice, our smartphone, our tablets. And what it does is makes our life easier, and it does save us time. Your home gets to know you and your family and automatically works based on what's happening without need for your input. My little buddy over here, I have the Google devices, and every once in a while it works with my TV. I have never set it up with my television, but they do know what's going on and pay attention, and I can control my TV with my guy over here. So you have to think about your kitchen. What would you like to do? At a minimum, would you just like smart lights? Would you like to be able to walk into your kitchen and say a few words and boom, all of the lights are on? Do you want a few smart appliances or some kind of gadgets? And there is so much more out there. But what you need to do before you start is you need to plan it out, and you need to figure out how much you're going to spend. Do you want to do it in parts and pieces, or however you want to put it together? And how much do you want to spend now? Do you want to have another outlay in 6 months, in a year? Rolling it out does help spread out the costs. So, which is the best smart speaker package? Do you have Miss A or Mr. G? The Google guy is more conversational. It can remember what you're talking about and lets you carry on a conversation throughout things. And I argue with him because I have a couple of WeMo plugs, and my friend will say, I'm sorry, WeMo is not available. And so we have a little argument about that. Alexa would rather, have you use the correct words. My guy really doesn't care how many words I use or how little I use. Alexa uses Wikipedia, and of course, Google is using its search engine to find all the answers we might ask. And of course, Alexa is the better person to use if you're shopping. She wants you to buy things from Amazon, and she is there to help you make your decision. Both assistants let you combine your devices into rooms. You can walk into your front door and say a few words, and lights will turn on here, music will turn on there, and so on. And that's called routines and skills. You figure out what you want all of your home automation devices to do, and then it works. Google Home has a big content advantage. It integrates with YouTube. So you want to, just at a minimum, you want to be able to use some online recipes. And you can say, hey, prepare the ingredients. And it will read you the ingredients that you need to have. And you can go to the pantry. You can tell them to stop while you get everything out, put it on the counter. And then you start making it and it's next ingredient to get more. Then the instructions come along in steps. Or you can be, if you've got a really good memory, you can have it come to you in 3 steps at a time. I would prefer 1, and so I could get that mixed up or get that sifted in or whatever, and then make sure that it was complete and go on to the next step. The steps can be repeated. They can set your timer. Oh my gosh, I have absolutely no clue how many teaspoons there are in tablespoons. So you got somebody right there that can help you. And, and you could say, oh, I'm tired of cooking the same things over and over again. Find me a lasagna recipe, or I would like to make banana bread. I have no clue where my old banana bread recipe is, so I'd have to use that. And how do I cream sugar and butter? Am I going to have to whip it up? Am I going to have to use a hand mixer? What am I going to need to do? And the ever popular, can I replace baking soda with baking powder? And how many desserts? How much is that in cups? You can just keep going, and on the fly, you are asking your assistant these questions and you're getting the answer back instantly. So you can play music at the same time, free or paid. We all have access to music, and you can just say next song, whatever. You want to change the type of music, your assistant is going to do that for you with no problem. So with your cooking interface, it's Alexa, it's already built in. Oven on, microwave running, and you can read all those bullet points yourself. And hey, would you please defrost? I do say please. I'm very polite to my guy over here. I hope it helps me a little bit on the relationship. Defrost 3 pounds of meat in my microwave. I have absolutely no clue how long that would take, nor do I want to know. But if I can ask my assistant how to do that, I am a happy camper. You can automate gadgets, look up recipes. All those are recaps. Oh, I love the one on the bottom. You can track the calories. Do we really want to do that? And third from the bottom, you can add the items to your grocery list. Oops, I've lost, I've emptied that last box, threw it in the recycle bin, and I'll put it on my grocery list. The next time you start to put something together and you go, oops, forgot to put it on my grocery list. I've given this presentation several times. Each time I've updated it. And this is the April update. And from the beginning to April, I found 3 things that are no longer available. And the one that I thought was way cool was something that you clipped to the side of your trash can or your recycle bin or both. And as you threw something in there, it added by its barcode the item to your grocery list. I thought that would be quite handy, but doggone it, it's no longer around. You can attend on-demand cooking classes with Miss A. You can cook hands-free, interact with expert chefs. Anything you want to do in the realm of cooking, your assistants can help you. Miss A kind of stands a little above Mr. G when it comes to that kind of stuff. And you think, okay, all I really want right now, first step, I want to be able to tell my kitchen lights to turn on. And you have to decide which ones you want to buy. I have C by GE bulbs is what I started with. Well, I have a pole lamp, and it's not an original pole lamp from back in the day. It's a newer one. And I found out that the base of my GE bulb was too large. It would not screw all the way in, which is why I have a WeMo for that light. And I have a hanging wrought iron light in my kitchen, and it's the same thing. And so make sure that when you decide what kind of bulbs you're going to buy, make sure you know the depth of the receptacle so you get ones that fit. GE bulbs, Wise bulbs. Wise bulbs are the least expensive. They are very good. That's WYZE. And Bill James has Hue bulbs throughout his house. He has everything on the expensive end at his house. So there you go. Before you buy, check those base fittings. Don't, because that, and again, every once in a while, WeMo goes on strike and one of the lights in the family room doesn't turn on. So I have to reach over and click the on button for the surge protector where that cord is plugged in, which is no big deal. But hey, we're talking about home automation here. You'll say, why do I have to do that? So control your appliances with Wi-Fi. This adapter on the right over here has 3 USB ports and on and on and on. And you also, when you are getting into this, you need to decide that one of your mantras is going to be, I'm always going to check to make sure which assistant it works with. Sometimes the home automation stuff will only work with one. And if you buy it, it's not going to work with Mr. G. Do you want to go out and start having 2 different kinds of system because you need a Miss A to get it to work? Okay. And all you do in your app is set up the name of the appliance for each socket and boom, turn it off, turn it on, however you want it to do. And literally that's all you do with all of your apps that come along with your home automation stuff of any kind. So there's my little WeMo friends over to the right, and it's not that large. And I chose WeMo because they're located in Playa del Rey, which is at the end and to the right of the LAX. I like homegrown stuff. So here is Bill J, a coffee maker, $145 if that's what you'd like. It's Wi-Fi connect. You notice it will connect to several things. We'll keep the coffee at your temp, whatever you want, because you've set it up for 40 minutes. Fix it for your brewing taste. You like your coffee strong. You like it more on the weak side. However, and it pairs with multiple devices. So you can be in the other room and say, hey, turn on, you know, whatever you've given it, the coffee, if you've given it a different name or something like that. And it will be ready for when you arrive in the kitchen. This is Bill James coffee maker. Look at the price of that. He waited a couple, 3 years to get that. It came from Italy and it was going to be here. It was going to be here. It was going to be here. And finally it is here. And he says the coffee is absolutely fantastic. And all he uses his smartphone to control every single thing in his house. And he has an Android Samsung. But he just loves his coffee, and this fit the bill for him. And it does everything but wash itself out in the sink. Here's a kettle for water. You're a tea person. You can get that. It's $100. Just as a gadget, so to speak. And this is a smart mug. I really don't, well, I taught preschool for many, 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 many years. And I started out drinking coffee with my first kid, my daughter, Lori, because every time I sat down to have breakfast or have a cup of coffee, she'd want something. So I'm used to drinking cold coffee. So this is not something that I would buy. I had a preschool, parent participation preschool for years, the same thing. I'd bring warm coffee in my thermos, but with everything that was going on, I always drank it when it was cold. But if you are somebody who likes your coffee warm all the time, this might be something that you would like to purchase. Premium cocktail and margarita machine for the home bar, $370. Insert a capsule, select your strength, and off you go. And this really isn't Wi-Fi or anything, but I figured, you know, why would you want to press down on something to get a squirt of soap? So, you know, you could spend $45 and get a touchless hands-free pump for the kitchen or the bathroom. If you are somebody who has the sanitizer that you're using still, you could have one for soap and one for the sanitizer. I got my daughter one of these. Again, It has nothing to do with Wi-Fi, but it is automated. You don't have to whip anything. She uses it when she's cooking something in a pot on the stove, or she's putting something together. And those little feet, legs down there, they just dance all the way around. And she's a happy camper. And she asked for that just before I put this presentation together. So I bought that for her, and she just loves it. Again, it doesn't, you can't set it up to do anything at a certain time, anything like that, but you're not flipping your wrist and trying to stir something. It does it for you. So there is a shopping list app that I found instead of the one with the clipped to the barcode reader to your trash can. And this one you can say, okay, this is what I've got in the pantry. And then you know when you go to the store, oh, I've already got that. And I just got through cleaning out one of my daughter's pantries, to be honest with you. She has something from 2017 stuck in the way back. And after I was finished, I said, you know, you don't need to get another one of these because you already have 3 in your pantry. And of course, they were here, there, and everywhere. So she's a perfect candidate for something like this. And she uses her phone for everything. So having a hands-free grocery list that you could just talk to your phone and say, here, this is what I need, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to end up with 3 things in your pantry that, you know, you seldom use. So they're all going to go out of date. You're going to end up throwing them away. Here's your Wi-Fi Instapot. 8-in-1 kitchen appliances, pressure, slow and rice cooker, yogurt, make a cake, it's a saute pan, a steamer, and a warmer, and receive alerts on your mobile device. But look, it's only compatible with Alexa. So you might think that's the greatest thing that came down the pike, but you have an Android phone, so oops. And here's a toaster. I can't find a toaster that is less than this. And I can't figure out why, because they're just toasters. But this one does everything but the kitchen sink with the Wi-Fi and the setting and all this good kind of stuff. And I thought, okay, maybe there are people out who would like something like this that has 60 plus digital settings. I don't know. And here's a thermometer, works with both. Track 2 temperatures at once. You can use it with your grill, your smoker, your air fryer, range of up to 150 feet, and 25 plus hours of continuous use between charges. So you're not having a barbecue one weekend and the next weekend, oh, gee, I forgot to charge my thermometer, because you've got 25 hours worth of use, and it works with Bluetooth. Here's an air fryer. Lots of people have air fryers. This is $140. This is no big deal. And it uses its own app, VSync. So this is one that you would have to download the app and set it up and go from there. Here's a microwave, a little bit more. I thought a microwave would be much more expensive, but it's not. Scan to cook technology with the manufacturer's barcode. And here is an electric range. I have not had an electric home for over 40 years. We have gas up here. We had electric in Redondo Beach, but they have wonderful electric Wi-Fi connected stoves. People call them ranges. I call them stoves. No reheat air fry. Oh, how cool. It's self-cleaning. You can say to your oven from on your way home, turning you on now, because when I get home, I'm putting something in there and we're going to eat very quickly after that. Oh gosh, did I turn the burners off? It's like, gee, did I close the garage door? Well, if you've got it on your phone, you can make sure your garage door is closed, and you can make sure your burners are turned off. And it was interesting. These are all GE appliances, and they were all on sale at Home Depot when I first put this together. And it was interesting to find out that the sale prices from the beginning, now when I updated in April, were the regular prices. I found that interesting. And here's your gas. And of course, those of us who use gas have to spend a heck of a lot more, but it's a convention oven. We don't need a hub. Clocks, lights, they use Chef Connect. Again, that's another app you're going to have to download. You got a gas cooktop, an electric oven with a hidden bake, and it comes with its own precision temp probe. You don't have to buy that other one if you don't use it for barbecuing. And here's the handy dandy refrigerator. 4 doors, it's got a revolving door inside the door. I thought that was cool. The entire back is a wall of LED lights to let you know everything that is in your refrigerator. And I, typed that out and I looked at the big picture of it and I thought, I can see everything in the back of my refrigerator without those LED lights, but okay, it's another selling feature. You leave a door open, your smart device will notify you. Here's the dishwasher. I thought this was way cool. Got used one with the 3 racks. You got 16 place settings. It's got a hard food dispenser, and if you use steam and the sanitation, you can get rid of almost 100% of the bacteria, which makes you wonder how much of the bacteria the rest of us are getting rid of, or the opposite, still have left after we wash and dry our dishes. Very quiet. It's Wi-Fi. I thought this was way cool. And so I bought the next level down that isn't Wi-Fi connected. And I thought, come on, Judy, you really don't need a new dishwasher. Boy, was I surprised at how much cleaner my dishes got the first time I washed everything. I thought they were perfectly clean with the other dishwasher. Oops, they weren't. And use less dishwasher detergent, get yourself a water softener. We are restricted in our area for water softeners. We can't use the salt-based one or anything like that because of the PFAS in our water and all that good kind of stuff. But I didn't know I got scale and buildup in my water heater, but this tells me that I do, and maybe I should get one just for that. But again, you're using your Wi-Fi to monitor what's happening. And here's the Wise vacuum. Now, Bill James has this, and his name is Herman, by the way. And if you get into home automation like this, you must give everything a name. But it maps your room, plans its path, off it goes. He does it at 2 o'clock in the morning, a couple of times a week. And it really does a good job. And JJ from a group in Illinois, he has one, and he says his cat sits on the top of his and rides it around sometimes. But he said from the upper level, it's just open to the downstairs. And he said this guy just goes whipping right on by, never would think of falling down the stairs or anything. And it does an extremely good job of cleaning. And every once in a while, they have a very good sale. So here we are. Rosie is JJ's. Herman lives in Oklahoma. Jim Glass has one, but he didn't give his a name. He lives in SoCal. And the one up upper right is Bob G's. And Miss Alice is working very hard. And his wife's name is Alice. And so this is Miss Alice. And well, he gave this vacuum, I've been told, to somebody else and bought a different one. And his wife said, you better get that Wise vacuum back because it's much better. So this is Sudsy. This is your washing machine. And it's a smart washing machine. It's, $950. It works with either start, stop, monitor notifications. And it sits right next to his dryer. And of course, it's a washer, so he has named it Sudsy. And here is Bounce, the dryer. And when we are hoping someday that something will happen and the washer door will open and the clothes that are wet will magically run over to the dryer without him having to do anything about it. But if, when it's finished, he gets on his phone, the bounce is finished. And if he does not immediately get up out of his chair and walk into the laundry room area and do something, he will get an alert a few minutes later to make sure that he does do it. It's the wrinkle care, and it extends the tumble without heat. And he gets an alert when something is stuck in the vent, which is good, because that's how you can get fires easily. And I love it. If you are one who irons, you can set it to let you know when the load is the correct dampness for you to get that ironing board and iron out. And here are the happy duo who live next door to each other. And his kitchen is on the right. The door to his garage is to the left. And yes, he does iron. It says, I may be a washing machine with the latest technology, but I'm not equipped to wash your dishes. I think he's in the wrong place. And here is a smoker. Again, Bluetooth smart technology allows you to do everything you need to do, and you could set it up. You can go back in the house. If it's hotter than heck outside, you can jump in the pool or whatever. And your phone is going to let you know exactly what is happening, when things are ready, etc. And this is Bill's, that's Mr. Smokey, and that's his Pebble barbecue. And that's the display on the top. And he uses his phone for all of this, and he can be in the house and he can start Mr. Smokey up. And then when it gets to the temperature and it's all on and everything, it lets him know. He can take the meat out and put it on the grill. And then he could stay out there on his little porch, or he can come back in the house, give a presentation to a group or whatever. And then he gets notified when Mr. Smokey is finished, and he goes out and dinner is served. So you need to think about appliances. All the appliances I showed you, microwave, etc., they're all GE. And I just chose that. My oldest kids have Samsung washer and dryer. I have Maytag washer and dryer, as does my other daughter. But I chose GE because, like I said, everything was on sale at Home Depot when I originally put this together. And if you choose a washer from, RCA Whirlpool, and then you choose the dryer from Samsung, you've got two apps to worry about, two different sets of, ecology. And, you may as well think, what is it I really want to do? And I need to look at one brand. What's my favorite brand? How expensive is it? Do they have everything that I want as I start adding these devices? Because sometimes they don't work together. And you don't want to run up, you bought this device and it's got X number of days to be returned, and you kind of been lagging in setting it up, and all of a sudden you find it doesn't work with everything else, and it's too late. You can't return it. So again, plan what you are doing in advance. And most IoT devices connect to through Wi-Fi, wired Ethernet. My printers, my TV, and my computer are all via Ethernet, because I get much better service than having just the plain Wi-Fi. And then you've got your router. And so don't forget to rename your router. Give it some fancy dancy name, not the one that it came with. Change whatever default username and password that it came with, because that might be the one that's used for every single one. And don't forget, the drill on putting a strong, unique password or passphrase together. And use a strong encryption, at least WPA2, and ask yourself, how long have I had this router? We had quite the router discussion at a Wednesday workshop one time, and this guy said, he was having problems with his router. And one of us said, how old is it? And he says, oh, it's over 10 years old. And in unison, we said, you really need to go out and buy a new one, because he hasn't gotten any updates for 1,000 years probably. And you need to make sure you're getting the security updates and all that good kind of stuff. So if you need a new router, they're always on sale. And July, I think 11 and 12 is Prime Day. And our Rich DeMuro on KTLA, our Channel 5 out here, said, buy fill your cart with all the stuff you want. And then as soon as Prime Day hits, go in and click go so you can pay for it and get out. Don't spend your time looking on the day Prime Day starts. So again, keep your network router software firmware up to date. Reboot it regularly. Bill James, he has a presentation that goes about mesh routers and all this Wi-Fi and all this good kind of stuff. Reboot it regularly. It's like, refreshing your computer. You're supposed to turn your computer off and on, restart it or shut it down, one or the other. Do that with your router. Just say, okay, I'm going to reboot my router on the 1st of every single month or the last day of every month, but just refresh it. Use a separate Wi-Fi network for your devices. Set up a guest network. If you have people coming from up north, relatives coming from other places, and set up a guest network so they don't muck up anything that is connected to your house or your personal technology. Let them have their own place. So understand, read the privacy policies. If they say we have two-factor authentication, take the advantage of it. It's just an extra step because you don't want people breaking into your home automation network. You don't want them breaking into any of your network, but you don't want them, coming in and mucking around with stuff. And if people say, oh, they listen to you. Well, mine certainly does when he connects himself to my television without me asking, but turn them off. You're finished of the day and you're sitting around just chatting or whatever, turn them off. And I got everything from Amazon, Home Depot, Best Buy, Spin, Wise, and the Joy of Tech cartoon. And everything on the page where the graphic was, you have a link to where I got the information from. So, as my kids say, who are in their early 50s, it's unfortunate. Automating our kitchen has passed us by because everything's so expensive and, they would have to last forever. So does anybody have any questions? Oh, hi there, JJ. I talked about your cat.
It's Judy.
Yeah.
Do you have any trouble with Miss A and the Google if you have the same device hooked up to both of them?
I can answer that. I don't have that, but Bill had an Echo around town, and he got it out and he said, I'm going to start using this. He hooked it up to his television, and he has absolutely no problem all with using his Mr. A, Miss A, and his Mr. G. They're not, combined with anything. They each have their own role in life, so to speak. JJ, don't you use both of the assistants?
No, I don't. I don't use both of them, but I do use the Apple Home on some of my devices.
Okay, so you use the HomePod kit, and
Yeah.
And it works. Which do you have, A or G?
A.
A, and the Apple HomePod stuff works perfectly with A?
Yes.
There you go. There's your answer. Huey, I bet you have a cast of thousands.
Yes, I do. Of course. I have a Miss A in the living room, and then I have one of the little round ones. They call them an Echo in the bedroom, and it'll probably go off because I named the one in the bedroom Echo and the one in the living room is A. And so I can talk to one or the other, but either one I can tell, turn on the living room light, and the living room light will come on, or the table lamp in the living room. Because I've got the WeMo plugs in a lot of sockets. My TV, I like to reboot it every once in a while. Well, in order to do that, you either have to unplug it or turn the switch off that it plugs into. So I put a WeMo on the back of it so I can tell it to turn off the power to the TV, and then I tell it to turn it back on, and so it reboots.
I have
I've
it for WeMo. Thank you.
I have I think I got two still sitting on the shelf, waiting to find a plug to and a reason to have it. You do run out of plugs after a while. I've got a porch light and a Sensi, one of those smelling things out on the porch, and I can tell it to turn on, and it will do so using the WeMo. I also got a little splitter for it, so I have two things plugged into the same WeMo, so it turns them both on at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a microwave that is Wi-Fi capable. You know, one of the storms we had about a year ago, it restarted. The power was off for several days and it restarted. I never hooked the Wi-Fi up again. And so it's sitting there without me doing it. But yes, I find it great, especially the ability to turn on and off lights without having to go into the room or to go or to get up out of bed.
You get up there and you make that trip to the restroom, and you trip and you fall. Bill's tripped over his dog. My cats are always in the way, and you can just turn on, and you can program your lights to be bright or not. And so you say, turn on whatever you've called them, and your way is lit for you with no problem at all. Again, if you want to think about aging at home, you have to think of these things. My other WeMo is in the garage. I'm very capable of opening the garage door, reaching around and flipping on the light switch. I just fun to say, please turn on the garage lights. It's just fun, but it's also a safety factor from going down that dark hall to my bedroom. So
what do you do when you have a touch lamp that does 3 different levels?
I don't have one of those, so I don't know. Huey?
I don't either.
JJ?
Neither do I.
You are,
I guess,
unique, Sharon.
Pardon?
I said you are unique.
I guess you
Well,
touch it.
Yeah. I will ask Bill James. I will ask Bill James, though. Bill.
Yes, we have one of those touch lamps, and whenever the power goes out like it did today, when the power comes back on, the lamp comes on. So I assume it would be the same way with a WeMo or whatever hooked up to it.
And at another meeting that I was at, I don't know whether it was yours or not, somebody had just come back down from up north, and a hurricane had come through and the electricity was off, and she could not get into her house because she had the keypad lock. She did not have a key, and she could not get in because the electricity wasn't on. And every time I talk to anybody at another different home automation presentation, I tell them, make sure you get a lock that you can have a key. So in case the lights are out, nobody's home, you could still get in. And my Yale lock has a key, and it just hangs on my key ring, and so I'm a happy camper. So you never know when you're going to get good information that can save you for whatever.
I have a digital lock, but mine's battery operated, so it doesn't rely on Wi-Fi.
Okay. Mine is too, but my battery's gone out before. Without telling me it was ready to go out. it's changed its ways now.
Any more questions for Judy? Judy, I'm just floored.
Oh, it's been fun, Ann.
You know, I still use my frying pan and the flipper, and I just am not, this is just so incredible. What a fun thing. We can all practice in our new kitchen.
You know, and Bill James, his whole entire house is automated.
That's gotta be an interesting house to visit.
Yes, he wants to age in place, and he's setting it up so he can. As long as he can get around, no matter how old he gets, he's not going to have to bend and stretch. He's not going to have to do this. He can start his barbecue. He can, you know, blah, 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 blah. And that's one of the reasons he has done so much. He would travel to the Dominican Republic over the Christmas holidays, and he could change his outdoor lights on either side of his garage. One day they'd be red, the next 2 or 3 days later, they would be green. Talk about people not thinking you're gone when your Christmas lights, you know, for 3 days, they're one color and then they're, and so on like that. So he has more than a lot of fun with all his stuff.
Boy, I bet he does.
Bill James is known as the gadget guy for his group, and I'm also known as the gadget guy for my group.
Yes.
I just got back from Augusta, Georgia, a couple days ago. And the whole time I was down there, I had control of my house, security cameras, thermostat, which I turned up when I'm way back. And one thing I do is when you're gone, I have blinds in the front of my house, so I open and close my blinds to let people think I'm home.
Yep.
And the lights, the same thing. But yeah, my house is pretty much automated.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, you're the second most automated person I know, along with Huey. Dick Vogel, you have a question or a comment?
Unmuting. Yes, Huey mentioned that you never quite have enough outlets. And I would like to tell you that I found that Home Depot has a lengthy power strip. And I have one that's 4 feet long and has 12 outlets.
Ooh.
And I don't know how long the cord is, probably about 6 feet cord. And I use that for my computer, and I've gotten most of the outlets filled.
Wow. We do end up with a whole bunch of stuff, don't we? Huey, you're on.
Yeah, speaking of extension cords, I've got one that's Wi-Fi enabled, and each of the plugs is controlled separately, and there's also 3 USB plugs in it that you can turn them off or on as a group. They aren't separate, but each of the plugs on this extension cord is Wi-Fi enabled.
I just got an email about a month ago from my local comments utility system that was offering those plugs. And I wrote an article about it and put it in our newsletter.
Wow. And remember, Prime Day is coming up in a few days. So if you want to get rid of those really long plugs or Wi-Fi enabled like Huey has, they're going to be on sale probably at Amazon during Prime Day. Why pay retail?
Tell us again, Judy, when was Prime Day?
I think it's the 11th and 12th.
Yes.
Of July.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll be on the lookout.
And
Gosh, this is
Vinnie
great.
LaBash, I still miss the articles that you used to send me for push. So there.
Well, Vinnie is still very much with us, so
No, but he doesn't.
we can
write
get him
articles.
to. We can get him to send some more. Well, I'll get after him for you.
As well, you should. But Jim Cerny writes wonderful articles too.
Yes, he does.
I still use it. I used one of his articles that talked about UPSs, surge protectors, why you didn't want a plain surge protector, and something else with a graphic on it and the information on the back. I handed that out to every single one of my tech students under Introduction to Windows and Computers. And I taught tech classes for 22 years. And
Wow.
Al got a copy of that the minute I received that from him, giving you credit, of course, where who wrote it and where you belonged at the STUG group.
Good for you.
So,
Yeah, and good for Jim. Go ahead, JJ.
Bernard asked me if I put out a newsletter. I used to for my computer club. I did it for probably over 20 years. And then I figured nobody's reading it. I never get any comments. And so I stopped. And at that same time, I was doing it for 4 other groups using push stuff. And I missed it out because when I visit you guys, I get so much information to share. But yeah. So any other question? And then there's Jim, and he does his help desk when I'm on my Wednesday workshop. And I've already said, how could you do that to me? And
That's true.
Jim, at one of our last ones, I thought I was going to get there at 11:15, and then people kept talking after that until 11:30, and I thought, darn.
Well, one day you'll catch him, Judy, and we're so glad we caught you tonight. I mean, this was just a wonderful presentation. I'm not sure I want to go back into my kitchen anymore. It doesn't do any of these things.
Hey, well, get one of those stirrers like I got Stacy. I got it at Amazon.
Did you?
She loves it. I mean, she's on the computer all day long with the job she does for UCLA Health. She's responsible for the employee database. So she's using her wrists. And the last thing she needs to be doing is this or this. And this does all that for her.
I just can't imagine it. I mean, does it whip potatoes and do all those good things too?
God forbid she'd ever make mashed potatoes, but I would assume so. Okay, Anne?
Just amazing. Isn't it?
That would, I mean, that's just a fun thing to have. Like I said, it's not Wi-Fi or anything, but it's automated by a battery. You're not, using your wrist.
That's right. Yeah.
So ask
Wow.
for Christmas.
You've given us so much to think about what we want. Yeah, because they're all expensive.
Well,
But as you say, they make good Christmas presents.
That's not expensive, but you miss Mother's Day, so you could ask for it for your birthday or for Christmas.
There you go. I think
Kids
it's a
say,
great idea.
But Mom, you have everything. No, I don't.
Just ask me, right?
This is what I'd like.
You got it.
And
Well,
you
this
go
is-
get a copy of the presentation. I will send that to Mr. Poplock, and he can do with it whatever he does with it as usual.
That's great. Yes. So we'll take care of getting that out to everybody because not everybody could be with us tonight, but we had quite a few.
Right.
So I think it's pretty good for summer.
Now,
And-
I find your grandparents thing that you are working with absolutely fantastic and grand and glorious. No, that's not you. That's another group. Sorry. Are you by an Ollie? An Osher lifelong learning, something affiliated with the university or college?
Maria's saying yes, so I guess we are.
You might want to get in touch with them and see if they'd be interested in anything.
Yeah.
Ollie at George Mason University is affiliated with the PADASIS group, the Potomac Area Technology, blah, blah, blah. And I've just hooked up the Ollie out of Prescott, Arizona with JB's group, the Prescott Computer Society. He started, and I just finished the deal with a phone conversation before this presentation. So, I mean, it's just another avenue of collaboration, and who knows, the Ollie at UC Irvine used to have a computer club. I'd drive out for an hour and a half and give them a presentation.
Fantastic. Yes, we'll look into that. Thank you so much, Judy. Yeah, and I just had a note from Vinnie Labash saying that he would do a presentation on AI. So there you go, everybody. We've got good things to look forward to.
Hey, Vinnie, we have something called Wednesday workshops. I'd love to have you give it there too.
I know I'll twist his arm. I know he'd be happy to, Judy.
Absolutely.
Well, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, especially Judy, because it was a great presentation. Truly do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, everybody else, for coming. We had a very, very pleasant evening tonight with Judy, and we sure have a lot of things to look forward to in our kitchens in the future. Thank you again.
Bye, everybody.
Good night, everyone.